welcome to the Savage Nation, March 31st, 2010, the Michael Savage birthday edition. I don't know about you, but I never thought I'd make 2000, let alone 2010. I remember when I was young, I would project ahead and say, let's see now. In the year 2000, I'll be such and so an age. And I said, I don't think I'll make that. That's like forever. Well, I said, maybe I'll make it to 1990. You know, when you're young, you have no concept of time. I remember when I was... but we'll do news today. You want to do news? Another New York Times left-wing fascist has come out and said the death panels are going to save a lot of money. This is the same son of a Paul Krugman, the same son of a who said that there were no death panels during the debate leading up to socialized Obamacare. These lying SOBs from the New York Times are Stalinist through and through. Oh, they pose as good liberals. Oh, they salute each other in their elevators on the Upper East Side as to what good guys they really are and how smart they are and how much compassion they have. But here's a guy, Paul Krugman, who said there were no death panels during the debate. Now he comes out and says death panels will save a lot of money. Back in the 1930s, the New York Times supported Joseph Stalin. Now in the year 2010, 29, whatever the year is, there they are again supporting fascism in the name of liberalism. Let's go back to my birthday. The reason death panels is resonating with me is by their token, I should be given no medical care. They would rather give medical care to an illegal alien 15 years old than to me. Obama and his left-wing fanatic minions would rather assign any medical care that's going to be allowed to be given to anyone to a 15-year-old illegal alien about to give birth to triplets in a border town than to me, a national treasure. How do you like that? You feel like you were screwed and you were set up and sold out? You wouldn't know it anyway. What's the difference? Now, there was big news when Obama said he's going to allow offshore drilling. I said, all right, the guy is triangulating the opposition. He's going to appease the oil industry, and he's then going to do what he wants with regard to cap and trade under a new name. That's very smart politics, very Machiavellian. Get the oil industry on your side. They'll let you do anything. They wouldn't care what you did. You could bring in 5 million Iranians as long as you gave them the right to drill. But he didn't really give the oil industry anything. He's saying you can drill off the coast of Virginia. Last I checked, there wasn't a lot of... but you can't drill in the Gulf of Mexico, and you can't drill off the Pacific coast in Alaska where all the oil is. Only Russia can drill off the coast of Alaska, and only Russia can drill in the Gulf of Mexico. But you can't. That doesn't make sense to me. It's a lie as far as I'm concerned. It's another deceit and lie by Mr. Machiavelli himself, Barack Hussein Machiavelli. How does he have the power to just say, go ahead and drill? The whole left-wing fanaticism, no drilling, no atomic energy, no nuclear power plants, no drilling, no cars, no nothing. They're insane. 1-800-449-82. Don't call me and wish me happy birthday, whatever you do, please. I don't eat cake. I don't do the hat. I don't do the candles. I hate it, actually. I get embarrassed. If I'm in a restaurant and I hear them singing happy birthday, I really get sick. Not that I understand some people are different than me. I get it. It makes me uncomfortable, at number one. I don't go to a restaurant and hear someone else singing happy birthday like their children. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I'm just not like the average American, I suppose, in that regard. I suppose most people like listening to people sing happy birthday like their children. If you do, good luck to you. You don't hurt anybody. Yesterday, Putin calls for bombers to be scraped from sewers. Today, they set off another bomb in southern Russia. That's all. Yesterday, he was going to scrape them off the streets. And today, they set off another bomb, killing another 14 Russians. And he couldn't do anything. 12. It's 12 today, 14 tomorrow in the south of Russia. So you got fanatical Muslims willing to kill their women and children in the name of Islam. You have the world's toughest man unable to stop them. I mean, you'd expect that Putin could have stopped them, right? But he didn't. He leveled Grozny. He reduced Grozny in Chechnya to rubble in the 90s, right? Did that stop them? For a while, but they're back. They're back. New suicide blasts killed 12 in the south. Yesterday said scrape them from the sewers. So now they're using their women and children to blow people up. 1-800-449-8255, michaelsavage.com. Let's go back to the New York Times Stalinist columnist, Paul Paul Krugman. New York Times Stalinist columnist Paul Krugman, whoever he is, I never heard of him. But apparently he's a very important man, according to the New York Times, saying that death panels will save a lot of money. Now, these are the same swine who, during the debate leading up to Obamacare, said there were no death panels. The right wing was making it up. Listen to this Stalinist Paul Krugman in clip 1.
It's amazing, actually, if you think about people on the right, they're simultaneously screaming they're going to send all the old people to death panels, and it's not going to save any money. That's a contradictory point of view. The advisory panel, which has the ability to make more or less binding judgments on saying this particular expensive treatment actually doesn't do any good medically, and so we're not going to pay for it, that is actually going to save quite a lot of money. We don't know how much yet. The CBO gives it very little credit, but most of the healthcare economists I talk to think that it's going to be a really major cost saving.
Paul, you know, you're such a smart boy. You come from such smart people in New York. You know, I only hope that it's not your father or mother or yourself or your wife that goes before one of Obama's friends to decide whether or not you get treatment at the end of your life, Paul. I only hope it doesn't come back to bite you in the tuchus, Paul. Where do these people get the audacity to sit there and say the death panels are okay for everyone else west of the Hudson River, but they're not going to be touched by it because they know Obama personally? Basically, that's what he's saying. You know? New York, Jimmy, welcome to the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please. What's on your mind from WOR land?
Yes, a few years ago in Russia, in Moscow, there were apartment bombings, apartment buildings bombed. But the local police in Moscow arrested, caught in the act, they caught FSB planting bombs in the buildings. Now, this is exposed...
Whoa. Let's stop now. I see where you're going. In other words, Putin set off the bombs himself, you're going to say?
In the past, Litvinenko, remember the Russian KGB?
Jimmy, there's only a limit to how far I'm willing to allow the show to be taken by anybody. Now, I know that you're a fanatical anti-communist, and I respect you for that, but you're not arguing that Putin set off the bombs himself, killing people on the subway and now in southern Russia, are you?
Do you remember Litvinenko poisoned in London?
I knew him myself. I used to buy chopped liver from him over in Brighton Beach. Of course I knew Litvinenko.
Litvinenko was murdered in London. He was
the one who ate the polonium sushi.
Right, the one who was murdered by Putin's people because he exposed the fact that Ayman al-Zawahiri, the number 2 al-Qaeda leader, was trained by the Soviets. But in the book he wrote, Blowing Up Russia, he even has the names. FSB, which is the modern...
Let's take your conspiracy theory that Putin set people on to blowing up the subways and now in southern Russia. Why would he do that?
Well, they want to create the illusion that Russia is also a victim of radical Islam when the Soviets are behind radical Islam. It was their long-range plan to bypass mutual assured destruction. It's the Russians building the nuclear threat in Iran. It's Russian intelligence who toppled the Shah. I mean, this is incredible. And now the Putin admitted...
You just said it's Russian intelligence who toppled the Shah and brought in Khomeini. So Jimmy Carter had nothing to do with it, or Jimmy Carter now is a stooge of the ex-Soviet Union?
Jimmy Carter's advisors from the Institute for Policy Studies in Washington, that's a KGB front group, very well known, tax exempt. It's incredibly powerful.
Well, Jimmy Carter, I know, has long been a red. That I know, he's a wobbly red. Absolutely. I totally accept that. That's my opinion as well. I think Jimmy Carter is a traitor.
Exactly.
No, I accept that. He's an anti-Semite and a traitor. I accept both of those allegations. From my reading, my analysis, and the way this man has behaved, that is a given, but I really couldn't accept that he's behind this right now. I mean, you know, look, anything's possible, but where do you come up with a thing like this?
Let me explain this. If I'm your neighbor, I blow up your house.
Well, please, don't even say it. Do me a favor.
I break my window at the same time.
Jimmy, I'm not going to be crude now, but I'm going to say goodbye. I can't, after yesterday with the bodies in Islamburg, I can't take it anymore. I got the crazy people yesterday. You know, once you start in drifting, the next thing you know know what's going to come up. He was with the dead bodies in the Islamburg, and I see his mother. I didn't know where to go with it. Then I had a woman calling. It got nuttier by the second. That I don't really know that Obama was put here by the Muslim. I mean, come on, give me a break. Isn't it enough that he's a naked Marxist-Leninist? Why do you have to go to the extreme that he was put here by the Muslims? You know, let's back off for a minute. There are bad people in the world, and not everything is a conspiracy. That's all. There are radical Islamists who were not put there by In fact, they've been around longer than Putin's been around, if you want to get specific. Since around the 7th century, they've been trying to convert the world to Islam. So Putin all of a sudden, okay, next case. Now, I had some people call the Savage Nation. You don't care about the death panels? Okay, we'll move on. I would have thought you would have cared. You don't care about offshore drilling? Boom, move on. You don't care that Sarkozy is 5'5" and needed a special lectern to make him come up to Obama's chin? I'll let that go. It just shows you the short guy's rule. I mean, the fact of the matter is 5'5", and look at the wife he has. Look who he got at 5'5". I mean, you know, they say absolute power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, if that's part of the corruption, hello, he did pretty good for a 5'5" guy. I never knew he was that short. Does he wear platform heels? Do you think Sarkozy wears platform heels? I know he brought in his own lectern, according to Matt Drudge. They wheeled in a special trick lectern that made him come up to Obama's mustache.